So now it's time to look at the game that we're all anticipating here, the Rams at the Saints. This game does kick off on Fox at 12:05 Los Angeles time. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are on the call, so we get them for the second week in a row. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on the Super Bowl. The Saints are favored in 3 by this game. The Rams, for you bettors out there, the Rams are plus 145. The line opened at 3, went to 3.5 for a short time, then back to 3. The over/under sits at 56.5, and Las Vegas is giving the Rams a 43% chance to win this game. Now, we're going to talk about Bill Vinovich. I said I would talk about him, and we're going to talk about him. So I'm seeing in a lot of publications, some very respectable Rams publications, that the Rams are 0-8 all time with Bill Vinovich. That's actually not true. Based on my research and looking up Bill Vinovich and his history, the Rams are actually 2-9 all time with Bill Vinovich as a referee. I'm not sure really where these 0-12 and 0-8 numbers are coming from, but these are from Pro Football Reference, is where I'm getting my information. So if you guys want to look that up. The last time the Rams won with Vinovich, it was week 1 of the 2006 season. That was against the Denver Broncos. And then with Vinovich in any capacity, though, he used to be a side judge and back judge. The Rams are actually 4-11 all time with him. They are 0-2 with Vinovich this season, with losses against the Saints and the Eagles. And neither of those games showed any blatant disregard for the Rams. That's one thing I did want to mention. In my opinion, is that I didn't see anything that just said that Bill Vinovich was just picking on the Rams, except for there was that 4th down conversion by Hecker that, I mean, trying to sound as not biased as I can, but, I mean, Hecker got that 1st down. You know, it was pretty clear from the different angles that they were showing that Hecker did convert that, and it was reviewed and still not given. So that's really the only thing that I could personally note. If you guys can note anything that you're thinking that I'm totally missing, make sure you comment it, and I want to know, because you know the history with Bill Vinovich is not awesome, and there is the petition obviously to get him off. That's not going to happen. As much as I would like to see a different referee in this game, those kind of things never really happen. The NFL has decided they're going to stick with that. Some notes on this game. The Rams will be wearing their white jerseys. We're not sure if they'll be in the blue or white pants yet. And this I mentioned because there has been a lot of questions from Rams fans all over the place what uniforms we will be in, and that's the only reason I mentioned this here. So we will have the blue and white helmet, something that we've seen a lot this season, mainly on the road. The Saints will be in black jerseys, and it's likely that they'll be in black pants also, probably do the all black, which would mean I would like the Rams to wear all white. I think that'd be nice, but at the same time, I'd rather just win the game than worry about what we're wearing out there. But the Rams also, they do not have a blue and yellow away style jersey available to them this year. And also next year, just a kind of heads up, is we'll be seeing the same exact uniforms that we saw this year. We're going to see some color rush. We're going to see the throwback at home, and then we're going to see those white uniforms. Nothing is changing next year. It'll be the same exact as this year. Let's see here. Marcus Peters and Sean Payton both downplaying this whole Gumbo Week talk, which I thought was really interesting. Marcus Peters, if you guys haven't heard it, it's great. It's great TV. It's great news. It's awesome stuff. Marcus Peters pretty much just saying, like, tell Sean Payton to keep talking, because Sean Payton noted in his press conference after the Rams and Saints Week 9 game that they saw that matchup with Marcus Peters and they liked it. And he the way he said it, he said, we like that matchup a lot. And I mean, it showed. At the same time, I mean, how can you really say that, how can you talk trash about it? Because, I mean, Mike Thomas went off for 211 yards. So, I mean, he did an awesome job in that game, and it clearly did work out. So I'm just hoping that Marcus Peters he kind of fuels himself on that a little bit, and we see a much better game out of him in this one. The Rams are drawing most of the bets in the NFC Championship game so far, so the line could change before the game. So I'm thinking that that will get a little bit further. I think it's going to go into the Saints' favor, and I don't think that has anything to do with anything happening this week. I think it's just the Rams are going to be betting. People are betting on the Rams a lot, so they're going to try to entice people to bet for the Saints by giving them a higher line. So don't read too much into that. That's my only point with that. with that bit. Let's see here. The championship game, recent history. So the last time a road team won in the NFC Championship game was the 49ers in 2012, and that was actually the end of a 3-game road winning streak for NFC Championship game winners. The Rams are now third all-time in NFC Championship game appearances with 10. They are behind the Cowboys and the 49ers. The Rams are 1-5 all-time in road NFC Championship games, and this is the second NFC Championship game ever held in New Orleans, and that first one coming in the 2009 season. The Saints beat the Vikings, and then of course went on to win the Super Bowl. The injury report for you guys on the Saints side. This is actually from Wednesday's practice, but I'm recording this at a time where the new reports are not available to me yet. But of course, if you guys need that, they're readily available online. You can, when those come out, they're usually all over the place. So players who did not participate in practice on Wednesday: wide receiver Keith Kirkwood for the Saints with a calf injury, and tight end Benjamin Watson also battling an illness there. Limited participants: guard Andres Pete with his broken hand injury. He did have that broken hand last week. He did play through it. He did not play that well, so that's going to be something to watch for. Also, tackle Ryan Ramczyk with a shoulder injury, and then center Max Unger with his knee injury. On the Rams side, there is actually no Rams on the injury report. We have gotten to this point in the season, there's not a Ram on the injury report. That's pretty awesome stuff. That's not something that you see very often, is a team going into the NFC Championship game as healthy as the Rams are right now. And I think that could very well play into this game. So let's take a look at the matchup. These are regular season numbers. This is the Saints offense versus the Rams defense. The Saints offense ranked 8th and the Rams defense in 19th, and that's in total yards. Passing yards, Saints offense 12th, Rams defense 14th. Running the football, Saints were 6th, Rams were 23rd against the run. And points per game, the Saints were putting up 31.5, that ranked 3rd, and the Rams were giving up 24 points per game, that ranked 20th. The Rams offense versus the Saints defense, total yards, 2nd for the Rams and 14th for the Saints defense. Passing the football, 5th for the Rams and 29th for the Saints defense. And then running, big story here. The Rams were 3rd in the NFL in running, and the Saints defense was 2nd against the run. Points per game, the Rams were putting up 32.9, that ranked 2nd, and the Saints giving up 22.1, that ranked 14th. These are my 3 to see. We have some interesting matchups to watch, really all over the field. There's some really interesting matchups to watch, but these are 3 that I've picked out for you guys that I'm going to be keeping a pretty close eye on. So center Max Unger and Andres Pete, both of those guys appearing on the injury report, versus Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. So with Pete's hand injury, even if he plays, he's going to need a lot of help with Donald. Obviously, most people do. Usually this help comes from the center, where Unger is also dealing with his knee injury, and with Ndamukong Suh. So the Saints' fast passing attack means less time for the pass rushers to get to Breeze. So this matchup could pay off really big for the Rams if Andres Pete's hand is not fully healed, which it won't be by Sunday's game. And then we have Michael Thomas versus Aqib Talib. Talib obviously did not appear in the first matchup, and we saw cornerback Troy Hill get the start in that game. Thomas went off, really. He absolutely went off. 211 yards on 12 catches on 15 targets. That's 17.6 yards per catch. The Saints will clearly be picking on Peters again, and I think that's going to be the game plan. But Aqib Talib has never played against Michael Thomas in his career. The Broncos did play the Saints in 2016, but Talib was not available in that game. So this is the first time that Talib will see Michael Thomas. So I think that could be an interesting matchup to watch in this game. And then we have David Onyemata and possibly Tyron Walker, former Ram, versus the Rams' interior offensive line. So Sheldon Rankins tore his Achilles last week against the Eagles. The Rams put up 273 rushing yards against the Cowboys, and they were 5th ranked in run defense. That was just a week ago, obviously. The Eagles had 49 rushing yards against the Saints last week, but only on 16 attempts. That's 3 yards per carry. But they didn't really try, only 16 attempts on the ground. The Rams' offensive line ranks 1st in run blocking, according to Pro Football Focus, and Alex Anzalone, the middle linebacker of the Saints, will be critical in slowing down the Rams' run attack. But if the Rams can continue their success up front in getting to the second level, then I think that this could be a perfect situation to set up some play action, and I expect a decent amount of play action. but a decent amount of run also in this game. In the first matchup, I think that, the 29th ranked pass defense for the Saints, I think definitely plays into the hands of the Rams, and got through for 391 against the Saints earlier this year. Let's take a look at the history of this matchup. This is the 76th meeting between these two. This is the second time they've met in the playoffs. The Rams lead the all-time series 41-34. The Rams have won 3 of the last 5. The first game between these two was September 17th, 1967. The Rams did win that game 27-13. Obviously, the most recent game, just Week 9 earlier this year, 45-35 for the Saints. The Saints were up 35-14. The Rams tied it up at 35, and then just I feel like they kind of just ran out of that juice, and the Saints were able to put up that extra 10. The only playoff game between these two before was on December 30th of 2000. That was at New Orleans. It was a 31-28 victory for the Saints, and this obviously was the first playoff game that the Rams played after the Super Bowl, after winning the Super Bowl. Let's see here. The Rams lead the all-time series on the road at the Saints. That's 19-18 is the record, but have been outscored by the Saints 785-772. So the Saints have put up more points at home against the Rams, but the Rams do hold the all-time series lead there. And all-time, the Rams are 16-15 at the Superdome. My keys to victory in this game for the Rams, it's control the ball. They have to keep Drew Brees off the field. We know that Drew Brees is a very powerful quarterback who can do a lot of things, and they have stars all over the place. They've got Kamara. We know that they have Mike Thomas. We know that they have really good players. Keeping those guys on the sideline with their helmet off watching the game, that's, I think, how the Rams are going to win this game. For the Saints, it's do exactly what they did against the Eagles, which was carry, an 11-minute drive. That is pretty much the recipe to how to beat the Rams as well. Keep that offense on the sideline. So this is going to be very critical. Third downs, I think, are going to tell the story in this game. Third downs and turnovers, I think if you win those situations, you will win this game. But that is going to do it for the game preview on